you about oil rig injuries. So, if you suffered injuries or your loved one lost their lives while working on an oil rig, consider contracting our oil field injury lawyers in Texas. We offer free consultations so you are got nothing to lose. Call today for more information. Oil field accidents are pretty common in the US and are very dangerous. Several factors increase the risk of injuries and deaths to oil field workers. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration states that 489 oil and gas extractions workers died from 2013 to 2017. Notably, Texas oil workers seems to have the highest fatality rate. In 2017, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data showed that Texas recorded the highest oil rig deaths, 44. Fortunately, if you are an oil and gas worker who's sustained a job injury, you may be able to get financial compensation from the responsible parties. Reach out to our oil field injury lawyers in Texas to see if we can help you recover a fair settlement. Work in the oil industry generally involves contact with materials that result in adverse health outcomes. For example, gas workers often encounter flammable gases. Similarly, heavy machinery can cause injuries to workers. Consequently, there are several types of oil field accidents. Below are a few of the most common types of oil rig accidents. Oil rig explosions. So, oil rig explosions includes explosions often happen on offshore and onshore oil rigs. This is because the oil and gas industry primarily deals with flammable materials. Therefore, any mistake can cause insignificant explosions or fire. On second number, slip and falls. Many oil and gas workers operate on a drilling platform or elevated equipment. Oil and other liquids can spill, making their environment slippery. So many employees often slip and fall while walking on rigs. Third one, oil well blowouts. A blowout is an uncontrolled release of crude oil or gas from oil wells. They happen when the well's pressure release system fails. There are three types of oil rig blowouts, namely surface blowouts, subsea blowouts, underground blowouts. Furthermore, blowouts can occur at any stage, including drilling, well testing, oil production, well completion, transportation accidents. This type of accidents occur when oil companies transport a piece of machinery or oil workers from one ring to another. However, oil industry crashes are different from ordinary motor vehicle accidents. This is because of heavy equipment or hazardous materials being transported. So, the consequences of such a collision are often worse than a regular car wreck. Oilfield workers can sustain minor to catastrophic wounds in a misshape. The severity of injuries often depends on the nature of accident. However, examples of severe injuries that occur in the oil and gas industry include chemical burns, other catastrophic burn injuries from wire, wounds from gas accidents during explosions, soft tissue injuries, crush injuries, spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injuries, internal injuries to vital organs, nerve damage to various body parts, loss of limb. Fatal injuries are also common in oil industry. Oil field accident victims sometimes pass away at the worksite. Conversely, an oil field accident victim may die while receiving medical treatment. Whatever the case, the descendants' legal beneficiaries can file a legal claim against the at fault parties. What are the causes of oil rig accidents? Different factors are responsible for the oil and gas industry's high injury and death rate. Thankfully, many of them are preventable with proper training and maintenance. We explain the major causes of oil rig mishaps below. Number 1, defective equipment. The oil industry primarily deals with the heavy equipment. Unfortunately, poor or outdated industrial machinery sometimes gets into oil rigs. This defective machinery then causes equipment malfunctions. Suppose defective drilling or other equipment causes your oil rig accidents, then you can file a claim against the manufacturer or your employer. Number 2, lack of proper training. Oil rich jobs are specialized responsibilities, so oil and gas companies usually spend significant sums of money on the initial and continuous training of employees. However, lack of training on using heavy equipment on job sites is becoming common because of industry's fast growth. Sadly, these inexperienced workers without adequate training endanger their entire workforce.